We didn't even get to do the routine checkup. The routine checkup was supposed to be like 3 p.m. I went there that morning and he rushed me to the ER straight away. She was like, you know, like, do you know anyone in your family who have ovarian cancer? And I was like, you know when someone talking to you but like you just drift off? Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well. So today I'm gonna be doing my hair whilst I talk about my health journey and just experience with surgery and everything. So yeah, let's get right into it. Alright, so this video is gonna be less about my hair and more about what I'm actually gonna be talking about, because let's be honest, you probably see me do my hair a million times. And if you see me look down, it's because I help my iPod. I'm an iPod girly now. So let me get up my notes because I don't want to derail myself, you know? But also too, I hope I don't be too much on my notes because I want to be sensitive to whisper. Alright. Ooh. Let's get into it. So, in December of 2023, I started having like these indigestion pains. I thought maybe it's just, you know, something I've ate. I didn't think anything of it because I just thought, hey, I'm bloated, I'm stressed, and a lot is going on, and yeah, once life calms down, it's gonna be fine. So I started to struggle like to sleep throughout the night. Usually I would end up like waking up because of the stomach pains, and I was just like, oh my goodness, like maybe I need to stop eating a certain amount of hours before I go to bed so I don't have to wake up throughout the night, blah blah. But I was still very bloated and I felt very stretched, and so I was just like, you know what, let me focus more on my core. Maybe I just need to exercise more, manage my stress, all of that, blah blah blah, all the stuff that you just hear about from healthcare professionals. Also note, I realized that my waist was expanding, but like my body wasn't growing in proportion to like my waist. It was just like my waist was the only thing that was just expanding, and I was just like, that's weird. And so me not thinking anything of it, I just was like, you know what, I might have just gained weight. Let me just accept the fact that I gained weight. Cool. So I bought new trousers, and I remember buying two sizes above. My light just fell, but I'm picking it up. I remember buying 2 sizes above, thinking like I could always wear a belt. So please tell me why, when the pants come, why it couldn't fit me? And y'all, I don't know, that do something to me. Like the legs are baggy, too big, but the waist, it couldn't button. And I was just like, I am going to get into these jeans, which we're going to talk about, because that's a very toxic mentality to have, that you have to squeeze into a pair of trousers. Girl, just get a bigger size, please. Like, please, it's not that of the world. And so anyways, I was kind of like pressing on my stomach, like, you know, trying to get into these jeans. And by the end of the night, I was in so much pain. And that night, my abdomen was just, I was having sharp pains. I was ever meant to go to my GP for like a routine checkup anyway, but I just kept putting it off. So I was just like, you know what, I have this routine checkup coming up on Tuesday, so why not just go to the routine checkup and then let him check my abdomen at the same time. Girl, you know when you look back and you just be like, Winnie, what the heck were you thinking? Because please tell me why, when I went to my GP, we didn't even get to do the routine checkup. The routine checkup was supposed to be like 3 p.m. I went there that morning and he rushed me to the ER straight away. So yeah, I was like, you know, I'm having like these sharp stomach pains. And he was like, tell me more. And I was like, yeah, like just shooting pains, right? And so he's like, how long have you been having it? And I was like, yeah, unbearably just today. But like I've been on and off with pain like for the last month, but it just was coming like indigestion, and then I would drink like Pepto or like drink like Gaviscon and it'll be fine, and then I'll just go to bed. And then he felt my abdomen and he was just like, you need to go to the ER. But he's just like, yeah, something is going on in your abdomen. And I was like, so yeah. But I feel like I tell the story and I ain't doing nothing to my hair. So honestly, like, I thought about how I wanted to tell the story, and I just thought, let me do my hair so I don't, like, you know, have a breakdown on the internet. Distract me a little bit, because honestly, y'all, it was traumatic. And so, girl, I booked my Uber and I marched into the ER, because at this point I'm not thinking anything. First of all, the nurses, like, God really blessed me and was looking down on me, because honestly, y'all, the nurses were super nice. Like, everyone was so caring. Everyone just saw me as like their little sister. Everyone just treated me like with such respect, which honestly I was nervous about. And that's why I didn't go to the doctor for so long, y'all, because I was nervous to go to the doctor. That's why I got to the ER. When I went to the ER, they said I need to do a CAT scan. Did the CAT scan, and this is where my world turned upside down. So in the CAT scan, they found that I had a mass, 30-centimeter mass in my abdomen. How it got there, nobody knows to this day. Nobody knows. And yeah, so yeah, it was crazy. And I remember me asking the nurse, because I was on drips, and I was just like, am I going home tonight? And she was like, yo, just wait, the head doctor is talking to the surgeons about your case. I said, what? Talking to the surgeons about my case? Okay. So now I'm just texting my friends and just being like, guys, I don't know what's going on, blah blah blah, like, I think I might have to have surgery, but I don't even know for what. And so at this point I got annoyed, so I walked over to the nurse and I was just like, yeah, am I going home tonight? And then the ER nurse came and she sat me down. First of all, she pulled the curtains and I was like, oh my gosh. So when they pull the curtains and they need some confidentiality, I'm just like, oh gosh, what's this woman about to say to me? And then she's like asking me, like, you know, I am so unserious. Not me holding up, not me straightening my hair whilst like talking about this traumatic story. Anyways, y'all, listen, we gotta do a spoonful of sugar with the trauma in this life, okay? Okay. But she basically asked me, like, you know, do you come from like a family of like history with like cancer? And I was like, no. She was like, you know, like, do you know anyone in your family who have ovarian cancer? And I was like, no. She was like, have you ever had surgery before? I'm like, no. And she was like, oh, okay, well, you have a mass and it's quite big, and you know, you're gonna need surgery, and it's coming off of your ovary, so yeah. And we just started talking, like, she just asking me like my family history, like my family medical history, blah 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 blah. And I feel like, you know, when someone talking to you but like you just drift off. She told me like there's gonna be a meeting where the gynecologist, the oncologist, and the surgeons come together and discuss your case and then decide the best way to move forward. She was giving to me so much information, girl. Listen, I hear two things. First of all, from you mentioning that C word, my brain already like, what the heck? I remember saying like, you know, if it is cancer, then you're gonna have to like go through treatment even after the surgery. Treatment like, you know, radiation. But what I liked about this ER is like, I feel like she was Caribbean and I'm Caribbean, because the banter we had going on, it was just like, and even I saw Ghana just surrounding me with people who were so supportive, even though I've never met these people in my life. These just nurses and doctors who I literally met the day of. Anyways, I'm rambling, but yeah, so that was how I found out. I honestly had no appreciation for how big it was. I was never a math person, so when they said 30 centimeters, I was like, oh, that seems big. It was the size of a watermelon. It was huge. At this point, I'm just like, what the heck is going on? First of all, I don't want to do surgery. I didn't want to go under the knife, but I didn't have a choice. It was so big, blah blah. Okay, y'all, I did the back of my hair because I just feel like I wasn't progressing the way that I wanted to. All right, so where are we? Oh yeah, found out I had to have a, they call it a laparotomy. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correct. I'll put the thing here. basically a full midline abdominal surgery to remove whatever they need to remove. Like, I might insert pictures like how distended my abdomen got. I'll show you a picture of how my abdomen looked the night before surgery, and at this point it's like debilitating. Like, it's hard to sleep because I just feel stretched at all times. My stomach is just, my skin is so taut. It was tough, bro. Like, it was not fun, and it was extremely humbling. It taught me so much. Oh, it was a lot. Let me finish my hair and then let me, because I already feel myself wanting to cry. Like, and this is why I wanted to do my hair, and like, this is why I wanted to do my hair, to like distract me from it. So I met with my gynecologist in one of my appointments, and this is the appointment before my surgery. So this is like my final consultation, you know, just them telling me everything I need to do. When I saw my MRI, y'all, I think that's when it hit me. I just broke down inside the doctor's office, because I was like to see such a lesion just literally take up the entire forefront of my abdomen was wild. That's I said, how did that happen? Like, who let that get there? That's what I was thinking. Like, how did this happen? Like, literally, how did this happen? And she was like, yeah, we don't know. Like, ovarian cysts, like, they just, you know what I mean? Like, they just occur. I feel like in that moment, I was like, Lord, you kept me. You know, like, you just, oh. And when I saw the mass outside of my body, because I asked my surgeon to take a picture. Listen, let me see something. This is why it's so good to have like praying friends, praying family, because I really feel like, because my community was so prayerful, everyone in the healthcare system who came into contact with me, they were just like on some other level of grace. They were so nice to me, and you know when it's just a special sauce, and I'm like, Lord, I thank you for your grace and your favor, because I know it's not me. And so, oh, not my flat iron turning off. So yeah, girl, I was very blessed. And yeah, I remember my gynae, like, when I broke down in her office, she was so sweet. She just handed me like these tissues, and she was like, it's gonna be okay, blah blah. And what I loved about this whole experience, it was just surrounded by women in healthcare, women in STEM. Like, my surgeon was a Black Caribbean woman, and honestly, when I met her, I was just like, wow. Like, I don't know. And it's so funny because I told my friend, I said, I feel like that woman is Caribbean. Like, bruh, I could spot a Caribbean from a mile away. From you open up your mouth, I could tell. And it don't necessarily be an accent, but it's just the vibe. And I said, you know what? I'm a claimer. Yep, I'm a claimer. Sure enough, she was Caribbean. Listen, I was here for it, okay? First things first, I had the surgery, and first of all, y'all, nothing could prepare you for abdominal surgery. Like, I watched TikToks about people who had C-sections, because they were telling me, like, you know, just liken it to a C-section. Like, and I was like, girl, I ain't never had a C-section before. Guys, nothing could prepare you for opening up your abdomen. Like, and anyone who had a C-section, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I didn't know I would have to get like general anesthesia and spinal anesthesia, and I didn't know one of the side effects of spinal anesthesia, like an epidural, girl, you could have back pains afterwards. A couple of days after surgery, girl, I could barely walk. I was throwing up. I couldn't keep nothing down. Yeah, it was not fun. Anesthesia was just whooping my hip. And in those moments, like, you're humbled. You really, I was humbled. This whole experience has been very humbling. I feel like the theme of this, if I could put it in one word, it was pride. Like, my pride was being stripped away from me. And I was talking to my mate about this, and I was just like, oh my goodness, she's like, what the heck is going on with my life? Like, I'm 26. Why do I have to have such a major surgery? I haven't even had kids yet. Like, and on top of that, I felt, and I was going through like relationship stuff. So I was like, I can't catch a break. I remember my mommy saying, yeah girl, it sounds like your personal life is crumbling. And I was like, no, it actually is. I remember just googling like scriptures on pride, and like I came across these scriptures and it was like, you know, pride comes before a fall. And not that I think I went through a fall, but I definitely think I went through a reckoning. And just like how the Lord hates pride. And I was like, wow, God, I get why you hate pride now, because it destroys us. My pride was slowly destroying me and I didn't realize it. And that's the crazy thing about pride. It's so blinding. You would be full of pride and not even know it. So yeah, ask the Lord to search your heart, because I'm telling you, if you have pride, it's destroying you. And it's keeping you from the things that you actually really want. I remember just going through this and having to ask for help for like simple things. And it made me realize like, oh my goodness, for as long as I could remember in my adult life, I didn't really like to ask for help. But like now, girl, I'm the first one to ask for help. Like I ain't got no pride when it comes to that, because I see how easy a life can be when you just say, I can't do it, I need your help. That was the first lesson. The second lesson was body image and just how much of an idol it had become in my life. I don't know, like I just felt like it became like society's standard of beauty just became such an idol that I just placed on such a pedestal. And I felt like getting this diagnosis just crushed all of it. Like body image, the reality is I have a scar now from literally up here straight down. Like, you know what I mean? Like I have to accept my body in the way that it is now. I've lost weight. What else? My clothes that I loved, it no longer fits because, you know, well, first of all, after you have abdominal surgery, you can't really be wearing no pants or trousers or anything because you're so sore. Nothing could really be rubbing up against your scar. And I had staples as well, so I didn't want my clothes to get caught up in my staples. So yeah, fashion went out the window, honey. You know, like I wasn't trying to be cute. And so much of, I feel like so much of like my identity and self-worth, I think, was wrapped up in like the way that I looked, until after I was in the hospital and I realized, you know what, all of this is fleeting. When you strip everything back, you strip the weave, the hair, the makeup, the outfit, the glitz and the glam and the lights, like all of it is fleeting. And yeah, you realize what's most important, and that's health, that's family, that's the Lord. Most importantly, that's the Lord. I have so much grace and I have so much respect, and I just have a newfound level of people who have to frequent hospitals just because of like physical illnesses that they have. Like mine was acute, but I'm thinking of like chronic illness, people with chronic illnesses. I'm like, ooh, like I have so much grace, and my prayers are with you, because it's not easy, girl. I was laying in hospital bed like, am I ever gonna be okay? Like, y'all, literally after surgery I was throwing up until the day I got discharged, and I was in hospital for like 4 or 5 days. And you have to understand, I have stitches and staples in my abdomen, so to throw up is painful. Like I could hardly walk, I could hardly sit myself up in the bed because my abdomen is so weak. But one thing I want to say, my battery's about to die, so let me make this quick. I remember it was a night in the hospital. Oh, please don't let my battery die. I remember it was a night in the hospital, and I remember having this dream, and I woke up, and I remember that I had this terrible taste in my mouth, and I was like, what in the world? That was such a weird dream. But it was like people like mixing spices. It was given very much dark. It was a dark dream. It was given very much new age. Girl, when I woke up I said, absolutely not. So by some way, shape or form, I came out of the bed and I just started praying. And in that moment though, I realized, oh my goodness, as a sick person, because I was in hospital at this time, I was like, if I didn't know Jesus and somebody offered me this spice, this herb, this whatever, and says, hey, this gonna make you feel better, it's gonna free you of your misery, and it could get you out of this hospital, I can't say I wouldn't have taken it. Like when you're sick, you're so vulnerable. And I feel like anyone who's been through any sort of illnesses, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Stuff like that, like it really does humble you. It brings you down to your knees. Every high thing was brought low in my life. Truly. Like I have such grace for people who turn to those measures now. Not because I think it's right, because I think Jesus is the ultimate healer. Like God is Jehovah Rapha, not a spice. So yeah, I feel like in that moment God really checked me and was just like, be careful not to judge people who turn to like those measures. When you see someone who doing something that you don't necessarily agree with, pray for them. Instead of bashing them, pray for them, because you don't know what led them there, and you don't know the state of their souls and how desperate they are, and they're in pain. And I was just like, wow, Lord, rebuked, received. What else I want to talk about? Friendships. I just feel like friendships was such a big thing for me. My friends became like my family. And one of my friends, like, she just sat and cried with me. And also, guys, my friends fasted for me whilst I was in surgery, which honestly, good friends will change your life. Oh my goodness, fear was also such a big thing, because my greatest fear was going under general anesthesia. I'm like, what do you mean I'm gonna sleep, and then what? And then what? And then what? And then what? Like, I just wanted to know, like, I just felt so powerless. So you're gonna put me under and open me up, and I'm not gonna be able to, like, girl, I don't know what you're doing. Like, respectfully, I know this is your job, but this is my body. But I just had to bring that fear to the Lord. And also, I'm grateful for my friend. And I remember her saying, like, you know, when you go under, like, Jesus will be with you. I remember her telling me that. I want to cry. Because that was a genuine fear for me. Like, I just never wanted to do general anesthesia, but they were just like, there is no way you could do this surgery like any other way, sweetheart, respectfully. And I was like, okay. So fear was a big one for me, and I had to overcome that with people, with community. Pride, that came down. That was an idol that came down. And just this whole idea of like looking strong and being strong. I remember when I went to the ER, my ER doctor was like, do you need some pain meds? And I was like, no, I'm fine. She looked at me like, honey, you're walking, limping, and leaning to the side. You need pain medication. And in that moment, I was like, yeah, maybe you're right. And it's not that like I didn't want to like tell the truth or anything, but I think for so long I just endured the pain. But I think because I've also felt worse pain, I was just like, on a scale of 1 to 10, my pain is in 10. So, which honestly, as a black woman, don't ever minimize your pain. Don't ever minimize your pain. If you have the slightest pain in the hospital, you let them know. Okay, y'all, so yeah, that was my health situation. I hope I missed nothing. But yeah, y'all, I'm just grateful. Like, I feel like everything that I felt like I lost, God just restored to me. Yeah, now that like I can walk again and just like, you know, be out and about, I am grateful. I'm grateful. God restores. Hope someone leave this video knowing God heals, and he sees, and he cares about you. And even though he might not take you out of the valley, he'll walk with you every step of the way. So that was my reason for filming this video. Okay, I'm out of your way now. Bye.